This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world.
There's a certain demographic that seems to gravitate toward Whoopi Goldberg. Think older housewives who lean into low information, vote blue no matter who politics, frustrated with the world, and looking for someone to channel their discontent. That's the audience she's cultivated over the years, whether through her role as the outspoken co-host of The View or her memorable performances in films like Sister Act. But lately, Whoopi's name has been swirling in a different kind of conversation, one that's less about her on-screen persona and more about potential trouble brewing behind the scenes. Joe Rogan, the podcasting heavyweight known for diving into controversial topics, recently weighed in on Goldberg's situation, and it sparked a firestorm of chatter. On his show, Rogan didn't hold back, calling her out for what he sees as a pattern of making unfounded statements and passing off unverified claims as gospel truth. It's not the first time Whoopi's faced criticism, but this time, it feels like the stakes might be higher. Most people recognize Whoopi Goldberg as a familiar face in entertainment, a comedian, an actress, a daytime TV staple. She's been a Hollywood fixture for decades, with a career that's weathered its share of ups and downs. But what often flies under the radar is her history of controversies, some of which might be catching up with her now. Rogan's comments weren't just a casual jab. They hinted at something bigger, something messier. He suggested that Goldberg's tendency to speak recklessly could be a symptom of deeper issues that might even land her in legal hot water. And that's where the rumors start to swirl. There's talk online and in certain circles that Whoopi could be tangled up in a major Hollywood scandal, one that goes beyond her usual outspokenness and into the realm of financial misconduct or worse. If there's any truth to these whispers, she could be facing a reckoning that makes her past controversies look tame by comparison. Let's be clear, this isn't about Whoopi being the sharpest tool in the shed. Plenty of people have pointed out that some of her recent comments, like the eyebrow-raising claim that President Biden could round up Republicans and toss them in jail, don't exactly hold up under scrutiny. It's the kind of statement that sounds absurd on its face, the sort of thing that gets people rolling their eyes or firing off outraged tweets. But the real intrigue lies in what Rogan hinted at, the possibility that Goldberg's troubles extend beyond bad takes and into something far more serious. The internet is abuzz with speculation that she might be linked to a sprawling legal case unfolding in Hollywood, one that could involve financial fraud or even a cover-up of illicit activities. The theory goes that Whoopi, knowingly or not, might have gotten herself mixed up with the wrong people or the wrong deals. If she did have knowledge of something shady and stayed quiet, that alone could spell trouble, even if she wasn't the one pulling the strings. This isn't a stretch when you consider how celebrities have been burned before. Take financial fraud, for instance. It's not uncommon for big names to get roped into endorsing or investing in ventures that later turn out to be rotten at the core. Think of the countless stars who've been tied to shady businesses, from Ponzi schemes to tax-dodging fronts. Whoopi's had her share of unconventional business moves over the years. Nothing proven illegal, mind you, but enough to raise questions about her judgment. If she did put her money or her name behind something that's now under investigation, it's not hard to imagine her getting swept up in the fallout. And that's where Rogan's commentary starts to carry weight. He's not one to toss out wild accusations without some kind of foundation. Whether it's his own digging or tips from well-connected insiders, Rogan tends to speak when he's got something to back it up. So, when he floats the idea that Whoopi could be facing jail time, it's not just podcast bluster, it's a signal that there might be smoke worth investigating. Why is Rogan even talking about Whoopi Goldberg in the first place? It's a fair question. He's not exactly known for obsessing over daytime TV hosts, but Rogan's built a platform on exposing what he sees as the underbelly of systems, Hollywood included. He's spoken at length about the industry's dark side, the corruption, the cover-ups, the way accountability seems to vanish for the right people. When he brings up someone like Whoopi, it's not random. It's because she fits into a narrative he's been pushing for years, that the elite protect their own until they don't. And if Whoopi's name is coming up now, it could mean she's no longer untouchable. Maybe she's become a liability. And the leaks are starting to flow. Rogan's been in the game long enough to have sources most of us can only speculate about. If he's got people whispering in his ear about Goldberg's dealings, it's worth asking. Does he know something we don't? What exactly did Rogan say? He didn't come right out and declare, Whoopi Goldberg is going to prison. That's not his style. Instead, he framed it as a possibility, a what-if rooted in the rumors and allegations floating around. He pointed to her business history, her financial decisions, and the broader context of Hollywood scandals. If those dots connect, he suggested, she could be in deep. It's not an unreasonable leap when you look at the track record of other celebrities who've fallen from grace. Wesley Snipes, for example, was a bona fide star. Blade made him a household name, yet he still ended up serving 3 years behind bars for tax evasion. Lori Loughlin, another familiar face, thought she could skate by in the college admissions scandal, only to find herself doing time, however brief. The legal system doesn't always move swiftly, but when it decides to act, it doesn't care how famous you are. If Whoopi's caught in something similar, be it tax issues, fraud, or a cover-up, she wouldn't be the first big name to learn that lesson the hard way. Social media predictably has lost its mind over this. Whoopi's claim about Biden jailing. Republicans didn't help. It's the kind of soundbite that ignites X and keeps the outrage machine humming. But the legal drama rumors, that's what's really got people hooked. Anytime her name gets tied to something this juicy, the internet splits into camps. Those who think she's guilty of something, and those who see it as another pile-on. What's curious, though, is the silence from her camp. In past controversies, her team has been quick to clap back, redirecting the narrative or dismissing the noise. This time, crickets. That lack of a strong denial is fueling the speculation. If there's nothing to these claims, why not shut them down hard? The longer they let it fester, the more it feels like there might be fire behind the smoke. So, could Whoopi Goldberg actually end up behind bars? Let's cut through the hype and look at what we know. As of right now, March 26, 2025, no charges have been filed against her. There's no arrest warrant, no indictment, no public confirmation that she's even a person of interest in any investigation. That's the starting point. Without hard evidence, this is all just conjecture. But absence of charges doesn't mean absence of trouble. High-profile cases often simmer for years before they boil over. Investigations into financial misconduct, especially involving the IRS or federal agencies, can drag on quietly until there's enough to build an airtight case. Snipes didn't go down overnight. He dodged taxes for years before the hammer dropped. Loughlin's scandal unfolded gradually, too, with whispers turning into headlines long before she saw a courtroom. If Whoopi's caught up in something, whether it's her own doing or guilt by association, the legal gears could already be turning behind closed doors. What would it take for her to face real consequences? Evidence, plain and simple. Rumors don't convict people. Paper trails do. If there's proof of tax evasion, fraudulent investments, or complicity in a broader scheme, that's what matters. The government doesn't mess around with cases it can't win, especially not against someone with Whoopi's profile. If investigators are sniffing around, it's because they've got something tangible. Bank records, witness statements, maybe even a whistleblower. And if she's tied to a larger Hollywood probe, say a ring of insiders covering up illegal dealings, the fallout could be massive. We've seen it before. One domino falls and suddenly everyone's scrambling to save themselves. Whoopi might not be the mastermind, but even peripheral involvement could drag her down. Where does Joe Rogan fit into all this? He's not backing off, that's for sure. Rogan's brand thrives on pushing boundaries, and he's not the type to retract unless he's forced to. If anything, he'll lean harder into this, maybe bringing on guests, lawyers, insiders, journalists to unpack it further. He's got no skin in the game when it comes to protecting Hollywood's old guard, so if he believes Whoopi's in trouble, he'll keep digging. Could she push back legally? Defamation's an option, but it's a tough road for a public figure. She'd have to prove Rogan knowingly lied to hurt her, and if there's even a shred of truth here, that case collapses. Plus, suing would just amplify the story, something her team likely wants to avoid if there's anything to hide.